There we go. I can't see the other paddle too well, and the game is actually playing. So I think the board may be all right. There may be a sync problem with the board, but I think more than likely the problem is that the TV needs rebuilt, which we're going to do anyway. So pretty cool. Certainly sounds good, huh? We can rebuild all that later, the caps or whatever's making it sound so buzzed up. But what I'll do is we'll have to jerk that TV out of there and get the monitor board out and replace the caps on it and see if that gets us a better picture. But you know, it could come down to I've got something hooked up wrong. Now, that little shunt that I was talking about on the jumper, I looked in the schematics and tracked it all down, and it looks like that is connecting one of those little transistors right in through here to ground, which has something to do with the coining, how to coin it up. So I don't believe that's causing any kind of TV problems. I think the TV just needs recapped, like most monitors do, especially one from 1973. So we'll see if we can pop that out of there, and we'll mess with that next. So we removed the monitor, TV really. This is the back of the TV. You can see it's just one of the old school portable case ones. Took the back off, and we've got the actual guts over here. We're going to do a cap kit on. You can see when they did these back in the day. Look, this says 2018 on it, but I believe that's a number. That's not the year. We've had this longer than that. We've had this. When did we get this? We got this last year sometime, so I think that's just a coincidence. But obviously, this is not from 2018, and the tuner controls and everything have been removed, and they cut the case a little bit so it would fit in the cabinet right. But that's all factory stuff. So we're going to pull the board out and leave some of the wiring hooked up, lay it right here, and replace the capacitors or whichever ones we can. I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make, but we will see. We'll see if that makes it look any better, and we'll come back once we get it all cased up. Okay, so we started in on the caps and we ran into a couple snags. So basically I'm replacing the electrolytics, which is always a good idea. This is the sound module, it says, so there was a couple caps on that I replaced. Cap up here, cap here, cap here. I don't have a replacement for the wax caps though, which are the most likely to be bad, so I might have to order some stuff. But also, I just noticed it, I didn't notice it earlier, but all this crap over here on this side, this is a cap that is exploded. So all of this, let me walk over there and I'll show you. This is the inside of this paper cap right here. Right? So this is the other side of it. You can see where that used to go together. And if it's basically across the two wires running from the AC input. So luckily the Winter manual actually has the schematics for this TV in it. And if you look where the power comes in on the TV, that's the cap right there, C401.047, 150 volt. Okay, that is actually probably just a filter cap, because you see one line comes in and goes to ground, the other line comes in and goes through the fuse, blah, 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 blah. So you probably don't have to have it, which is why the set's been working. Who knows how long that thing's been blown up. But I looked in my parts, and I actually have a Mylar cap. That is the actual cap we need, 0.047, and it's a 400 volt, so that'll work perfect. So I'm going to replace that one with this. These couple wax ones I'm not sure about. Also, this is the flyback, and man, it's looking kind of iffy. This feels like it's just rubber, and the wire runs into it, and that part has started breaking apart. it was up and running, so I think it's fine, but we got to keep an eye on that. I've also got a wax cap up here on the yoke. Now remember, the horizontal was too big, so something like that's very suspect in that. So I may end up having to order some caps for it. The other one that you're going to run into is these big metal cans. These actually have 3 or 4 caps inside of them that built into them, and you can't buy these anymore because the values of the capacitors are all different inside the can. So it's actually labeled on the side what each capacitor is, and then on the bottom of the can you have different little connections, and they're identified differently. It shows you which one's which one's which. So what you can do is cut the wire off that's going to it and run that wire to a capacitor like what's labeled on the can, and then to ground, and basically put 4 capacitors on it instead of having the original 1 capacitor in the can. So I'd like to do that too, but I don't know if I've got all the values, so I might just do the ones that I have. That's a filter capacitor too, so that very well could be our problem that we've been experiencing. So what I'll probably do is replace the ones that I have here and then try it in the machine and see how good it looks. If it doesn't look good, I'll order some more caps. So we'll work through it a little bit more. So the Winner manual has this part in it from Teledyne Service, which made the TV, right? And it says in it 3 different times, vertical circuits. It says poor vertical sync, which is exactly what our problem was. Be sure IFAGC is full counterclockwise. So they say that as if it should always be fully counterclockwise, right? Horizontal circuits, right? Remember how we were losing the horizontal sync? Poor sync. Be sure IFAGC is full counterclockwise, right? Then we go down here to video circuits. Poor contrast, which we kind of had that problem too. Be sure IFAGC is full counterclockwise, right? And so you keep going, and here's a layout of the board. The IFAGC control is right here, right behind the power connections, right? So as I was working on it, it's that knob right there, right behind the power connection, which is that one right there. And it was not fully counterclockwise, it was more like that. So I turned it fully counterclockwise, or close to it. So that may have been the entire problem, but we'll see whenever we put it back in. Now I'm going to leave the back off of it, put everything back in it, and plug it up in the game. I can't do it here on the table because it has that modification where they modded it to have the contrast and brightness controls and stuff on it. I did find all of the caps that I needed to replace the ones in the can. What this big unholy mess is over here. If you do this where you replace the caps inside the can with an external cap and run the wire to it, you got to make sure you zip tie them down so that nothing's touching anything. So I think we've got that real good, and we replaced all the caps except for a few of the paper and wax caps. So we'll see if this works. If it doesn't, I'll order a few, but I think we're down to like 3 caps that we couldn't replace that weren't mylar or ceramic. Those are usually pretty good. So I'll put it all back together and we'll try popping it back in the cabinet. Okay folks, so after replacing those caps, I've basically got pretty much the same exact issue, so at least I didn't blow anything up. So I'm starting to think, you know, it kind of looks like a video ground issue to me, like on JAMA games or, you know, more modern stuff. If the video ground is gone, you'll get kind of this shadow look thing that we've got going on here, and you can see that the sync won't lock in. So I think what I'm going to try to do is put the parts that are missing off of that other board back on it, and then plug it in and see if I get a similar look on that board. If I do, then you know that'll tell me that it's still the monitor. If I don't, then that'll tell me that it's on the actual board. So next up, we're going to try the other board in. Okay folks, so we finally got all the little parts in, and we repopulated this board so it's just like that board. And so we had to get a little heat sink, the new transistor. We had to replace this big cap. This little transistor right here was missing, so we ordered one of those, new old stock. We had 2 chips here that were missing, which were 7474s. Of course, we could figure all this out by just looking at this board, right? And then we had this chip here, which was a 7404. And then this one up here was a 7400, and I didn't have a 7400. I had a 74 LS00. So that's a slightly different chip. It's the same number, and in most cases that doesn't matter, but in one of these boards that might matter. So we're going to see what it does. It might cause problems with the timing of the ball or something. I don't know. I don't know what section that's in, but that's the only one that's a little iffy. And there could be stuff broke all over the board. I don't know. They were taking parts off and everything. On the back there's a bunch of jumper wires, but strangely the exact same jumper wires are on the other board, same colors and everything, leading me to believe either the same company did them or it was some kind of factory thing. So a couple of the wires had broken loose, but I was able to just look at the other board and see where they went and put them right back. So we now have 2 identical boards, or close to identical. So I'm going to try popping this other one in and seeing if our monitor, our TV is still screwed up. If it is, then what we'll do next is we'll test we'll figure out another way to hook up the video to another TV and test it that way. But first we'll hook this in and see if we get anything. Alright folks, so we have our other board hooked up now, and we're kind of getting the same exact thing. Let me turn off the lights again like we did last time. You can't, the score is just scrolled up off the screen, so it's basically the same thing. We've got a sync problem, etc., etc. So that basically tells us that it's probably not the game board because they're both doing almost the exact same thing. I'm thinking maybe I've got the video hooked up wrong because, again, remember I made a little adapter. So all it would take is I got the ground on the wrong wire or something. There's 3 wires, one's audio and the other 2 are video, so you wouldn't think I'd screw that up, but I don't know. So I'm gonna do a little research on that. I believe I can also hook this into like a composite TV, so maybe we'll mess around with that. That'd be kind of neat. I could make a little jumper wire to put it on an RCA plug, and I think you can just plug it into a regular TV. So maybe we'll screw around with that next. Okay folks, so progress. So I went to go make a cable. So basically you can plug this into, you know, where you plug in a yellow wire on a TV, and on the other end there's just 2 wires, and so you can hook the ground up to the ground of your video and then the yellow part up to the composite of your video. And so I was looking at the manual again online. Alright, and so your common, which is your ground, is connected to pin 2 and the video is connected to pin 4. And then I started thinking, man, it sure looks like the way it looks whenever the video ground's gone, right? So then I went and looked at my little adapter that I made. Remember, I rigging this up, people. And would you look at this? See this shielded wire here? That's how it comes in, and there's a red, a green, and a black, and the black goes over here to pin 2. But I had never put a wire on the harness there. I thought it was connected over here. So see how these 2 are tied together? So I had it all screwed up. So all I needed to do was jumper pin 2 over to the ground. Right? So I jumpered pin 2 over to the ground, which means that now we have video ground, which we didn't have before. So if you turn it on, and this is our board that we've been messing around with, our second board, right? I'm getting a stable picture. You can't see it too good with the lights on, but the net is there. The score is a little screwed up. The ball is constantly playing. It's kind of like you're stuck in the middle of a game. So I don't think the board is working all the way, but guess what? We got the original board we can swap back in. Remember, we were playing that one, so we'll swap it in real quick. All right, so now we are getting somewhere. Look at that. it appears to be up and working. Monitor still needs a little bit of work. It's a little bit too wide, and it's got a little bit of a slow wiggle in it. I need to check some voltages and stuff on it. But let's try coining it up and seeing if we get anything. So the light came on. Oh snap. Oh, I forgot it would be that side. The paddle wouldn't go quite all the way to the top, so I think you can adjust that on the board. If I can ever hit that thing. Oh man, I'm so close. Damn. All right, I hit it one damn time. Yeah, there's some little pots to adjust how far the paddles can go down, I think. But at least we're up and running. Now it's going to beat that side because the guy can't go all the way down. So as you can see, it still needs a lot of work, but it's doing its thing. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on that TV. Worst case, you could put a modern TV in there if it comes on, when the power comes on. I'm going to work on that TV, see if I can get it to look better. We're going to clean. We're going to put new T-molding on it. We're going to work on the back glass a little bit. But it's all downhill from here, folks. So we'll film a video of us playing it and going over all, you know, how everything looks and everything. But I just wanted to show you a little bit of a video of us working through trying to get the board to work. We really didn't have to do much board repair. The one board that we worked on didn't work right, and the one that we put in originally appears to work fine. And we rebuilt the monitor, but it didn't fix all the problems with it, and the whole damn time the ground was off. So it might have looked just like this if we wouldn't have even rebuilt it. So, but we hope you enjoyed it. It was fun working on it. We're going to keep at it, and we're going to save this thing. But we'll do a full video like we usually do of how it turned out and all of the gameplay and everything. Because you know this one has very in-depth gameplay. It'll take a lot to film this this one. Hopefully we can at least get 2 people playing. That'll make it a little better. But we'll film that soon and get it up for you. But leave your comments below. We didn't get much accomplished, but at least it's up and running. We didn't show much repair, but leave your comments below. Let us know if you've ever heard of Midway's Winner. This thing's a wiener, man. Let us know if you've ever even heard of this thing and if you've seen one. And we'll talk to you on the next video. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble of filming it.